hours ago at Carolina, a night the Devils and their dads won't ever forget. Father-son bonding and a 5-1 blitzing of the Carolina Hurricanes that gave every member of the Devils family reason to cheer. But nothing can smack you back to reality like an old-fashioned rivalry, and the Flyers are here tonight. It's Corey Schneider's chance to make an impression with Dad in the house for a home game. Devils-Flyers next.
Coming up next, the Devils put on a show on the road for their dads, but they've all come back to New Jersey for the second game of this back-to-back series. Tonight's opponent, the rival Philadelphia Flyers, and the opening face-off live from Prudential Center is straight ahead. The Devils held up their end of the bargain last night. Ray Shero said if the Devils win, their dads get to come back for another trip next year. Tonight, they'll try to make it a 2-game sweep as we go to Steve Cangelosi and Ken Danico.
Thanks a lot, Deb, and good evening to you. The Devils' hope last night was the start of something good. For the team, of course, but specifically for two players who endured painstaking waits to get their first goals of the season, and on a team that really needs secondary scoring. Dano, last night they got it from the likes of Jacob Josephson and Steven Gianta.
Look, Jacob Josephson and Steven Gianta both bring speed. They do the little things that can impact a hockey game. But make no mistake, they need to provide some offense every once in a while. Steven Gianta had such a strong game. Beautiful wraparound there, and it has to make him feel more confident, better about his game. They're both capable of providing goals and some offense. And Jacob Josephson, we're going to see coming up here, is going to get his first of the season on a 2-on-1 right here, and he rips this puck. We see him score in the shootout. He finally gets his first goal. Sometimes that's all you need, is get that monk proverbial gorilla off your back and things start to go. It's going to make the Devils that much more dangerous if these two guys can provide some offense.
Each with their first goal. Josephson had 3 shots, Gio 5 hits. You can expect their ice time to bump with Travis Zajac injured and out of the lineup. Well, with the NHL season more than 2 months complete, the Flyers are starting to get their act together. Winners of 3 straight, and spearing this resurgence are a smooth skating rookie defenseman and a guy who just simply loves to play against the Devils. We're talking about 22-year-old Shane Gostisbehere. 4 goals in 9 games. The Devils get their first look at him. And Wayne Simmonds had the game-winning goal each of the Flyers' last 2 games. He scored 8 times against New Jersey in 24 meetings. He's got their number.
He's a threat every time he plays the Devils. He's big, he's strong, he's nasty, and dangerous around the net, especially on the power play. He's so tough to contain. He's very good at deflecting pucks. He uses that size, strength, and reach for the Philadelphia Flyers, and when he plays the Devils, he seems to get revved up. As far as the Ghost, the young kid, he's really brought some offense to their game. The Philadelphia Flyers have the least goals in the National Hockey League. They're starting to play better, and one player who can skate and bring the puck up ice can really impact the team and help guys like the physical player we talked about, Wayne Simmonds, who also has terrific hands, like I mentioned, around the net.
Wayne Simmonds and the Flyers will look to make it a season-high 4-game winning streak tonight here at The Rock. And here at Prudential Center, we're just about ready to go. The Devils looking to make it back-to-back wins on back-to-back nights. The driving force behind their victory last night against Carolina, Mike Camilleri. He scored twice. He assisted on another. And tonight, he and the Devils come into the game against the Flyers, looking to make it 2 straight over their Metropolitan Division rivals this season. The opening face-off is next.
It's kind of cool for them to see what we do in everyday lives. You can only explain it in so much detail, and for them to actually be able to see it on the road is one thing, but then they're going to be able to get a home game in as well, which is going to be cool. So I was looking forward to this trip as soon as I got the memo that it was happening, and my dad has been enjoying himself as much as possible, and we've had a great time.
His dad enjoying this trip as much as anyone. Was the first to say yesterday, what happens on the road stays on the road, guys.
That's our motto, Deb. Flyers had a brainstorm. One of our goaltenders is 0-7 lifetime versus New Jersey, so let's start the other guy. 27-year-old Michael Neuvirth 33 saves in his last appearance a week ago defeating Nashville. He actually has a terrific .939 save percentage through 11 games. And at the opposite end, well, he was pleased for Keith Kincaid last night, but Corey Schneider can use some of that same goal support. In his last 4 defeats, the Devils have been held to 1 goal 3 times, and in the other, scored twice. His save percentage is .927, 4th best among goalies who played 20 or more games. What's better than this? Devils Flyers, Friday night.
And you can probably expect a little physicality as we see Simmons and Farnham right off the draw jawing at each other.
Off the face-off, Adam Larson slows up his man, Matt Reed, and Wayne Simmons comes barreling in and delivers a hit on Jordan Tootoo. So the tone is set here in the opening moments. Flyers work it across. Michael Del Zotto plays this. Shot by Luke Shen is blocked by Steven Gianta. Puck winds around, and Tootoo racing for another belt in the corner. Puck battle continues. Sean Couturier digging forward for the Flyers. Brayden Schenn, quick shot is saved by Schneider, who covers.
Well, Flyers come out with a spark here and get an opportunity in the Devils zone, and they've credited this 3-game winning streak to some of their physicality and brazenness. You see right out of the gate here. First shift Simmons with the big hit on Jordan Tootoo. You see Del Zotto and Tootoo go at it there. Tootoo goes down. So Devils better be ready to play here. Flyers playing more of a physical brand like we're used to seeing a decade ago, Steven. The games that I played in when they were awfully nasty at times.
John Hines felt the Flyers would try to come out recognizing the Devils played last night and jump all over his team. Off the faceoff, Evgeny Medvedev with a shot that's deflected into the corner. Tonight's lineups are brought to you by Infinity. Nick Schultz, the veteran defenseman, jarred by Lee Stempniak. Player hauled down in the Devils' end is Damon Severson, and the Flyers getting an early jump on the Devils here as John Moore battles for the puck. Claude Giroux on for his first shift, and a shot is saved by Schneider. Losing control of the puck is Michael Raffl, and the Devils able to get it out to center for the first time.
Well, Devils finally get the puck in the Flyers zone. You knew, it's a good point, Stephen. Hines knew that, Coach Hines. Flyers were going to come out hard. Devils played last night, had a real good game, and sometimes you can catch a team off guard that just flown in after a good victory.
And he said it's our business now to make sure last night sticks, that we build off that victory 5-1 over Carolina. Taken here by Philadelphia, and the quick shot by Pierre-Edouard Bellemare is handled by Schneider.
Well, we look at the Devils bench right now, and Coach Hines had to be pleased with the effort last night. 5 goals, and only the second time this season where they put up that number. Also in Ottawa, the fathers were at the game, so everybody had a good time, including Coach Hines. His father was there, and I'm sure they enjoyed the festivities, but they know there are 2 important points at stake here. The division rival Devils have had a lot of success against the Flyers, as you've seen on that screen, so looking to continue that trend as well.
Brandon Manning plays this behind the net. Jake Voracek is playing on a line with Chris Vandevelde and Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. One of the elite forwards in the National Hockey League a year ago, having a heck of a time of it this year. He has 1 goal so far. David Schlemko's back in the Devils lineup, works it ahead for Kyle Palmieri, but the Devils are offside here. Philadelphia Flyers are coached by Dave Hackstall, and are they starting to buy into the man coaching college hockey at North Dakota last season. Hackstall took his teams to the Frozen Four 7 times in 11 years. But now you go from roughly a 35-game college schedule to the grind of 82 in the NHL. Even John Hines said the games keep coming like fastballs at this level.
Well, it's not just an adjustment for youngsters coming into the league, also for coaches. You're absolutely right, Kanji, and it seems the Flyers have started to receive his message as they've won their last 3 in a row. I don't know if Hackstall's method is to play the physical, robust style like we've seen Flyers teams in the past, but they have been doing that more lately.
Bobby Farnham returning to the Devils lineup tonight, delivers a hit. Puck taken away. Jordan Tootoo worked it across, but it's picked up here by Colin McDonald, the ex-Islander, who plays this into the Devils' end. Opening minutes here at the Rock. Second of 4 meetings between the teams this season. Devils earlier this year in Philadelphia registered their 100th all-time victory head-to-head in the regular season against the Flyers. Historically, they don't like each other. Played into the Devils' end. This is icing against Philadelphia.
He continues to be the spark for this Devils team, along with a couple of other guys, obviously Mike Camilleri in particular, but Adam Henrique, 12 goals on the year already. You saw last year 43 points in 75 games. Good enough to lead this team, but they needed more from him along with some of their top players, and they're getting it. Look, 20 points already, leads the team in goals, only 25 games played, and he scores those big clutch goals. He's playing a 200-foot game, Steve. Terrific in his own end. He's playing aggressive as well. You can't say enough about how Adam Henrique has led this hockey club up front.
On pace for a goal every other game, which is what he's done. 12 in the first 24 this season. Sergei Kalinin, one of the changes to the Devils lineup once again. He was a healthy scratch last night for the first time in 21. Chances are he didn't like that. Let's see how he responds tonight as Wayne Simmons motors into the Devils zone, slowed up by Andy Green. Flyers working around the net. Puck got by Wayne Simmons and chopped out of the zone by Matteau. Flyers working across, and Manning, defenseman, plays it ahead. Sean Couturier tries to send Simmons on his way, but he's sealed off. John Merrill across, and it's taken here by Schlemko. Eric Gelinas did not play poorly last night, but the Devils giving him a rest tonight. John Hines saying none of the players who are out tonight, the reason would be because of poor performance. Just a different look.
Oh, absolutely. You want to get Schlemko back in as well, and he's got fresh legs. Devils played yesterday, but Eric Gelinas, I thought, played very well his last 2 games.
Here's a guy who played well, Stefan Matteau. More than 13 minutes of ice time, over 3 minutes on the power play yesterday. Both season highs for him, and those 9 penalty minutes included a fight with Justin Falk, and that scored some points with his Devils teammates, including Kyle Palmieri. He said his legs were taken out from him by Falk earlier.
Well, Stefan Matteau has to play that aggressive, abrasive style of hockey, get noticed. He was noticed last night. He's got to bring that again against a very physical Philadelphia Flyer team and a division rival.
Adam Larson will take this off the boards and punch it into the Flyers' end. Luke Schenn winds it around for brother Brayton. Shot from the point by Andy Green, blocked away. Here come the Flyers in transition. The dish from Michael Rothel, the Austrian winger. Goes wide on Larson, tries to center one in front, and that puck bounced up high. Flyers get it back. Luke Schenn fakes a shot, dishes off to Rothel, and the stop is made. Flyers have multiple shot attempts, and officially the only 3 shots on goal so far in the game. Adam Larson is sealed off by Brayden Schenn. The Devils are weathering something here so far, clearly.
They are. Steve, Flyers have really come out and skated hard, played physical, and you can expect that. I mean, anytime a team comes back from a game the night before, it sometimes takes you a while to get through the first 5 minutes, but you got to weather the storm.
Here's Jacob Josephson, goal scorer last night. Spins away from Delzato and plays it to Patrick Elias behind the net. Jake Voracek there to deal with him, and the Flyers break out neatly. Van de Velde punches this in, and Belmar will give chase. Severson back to defend him, but the puck winds around to the veteran defenseman Nick Schultz, who plays it behind the net. Taken away by the Devils. Severson to Palmieri, and Elias is met at his own line, and the Flyers send it back in.
Flyers defenseman really standing up in the neutral zone, as you saw there, creating a turnover. Palmieri fed Patrick Elias. There was nowhere to go as Medvedev stepped right up and was in his face.
Jordan Tootoo gets his engine going, floats it into the Flyers zone. Here's Giunta, who plays it for Farnham behind the net. Spins away from one defender, gives to Giunta. Giunta, Tootoo thought about the sharp angle shot and then thinks it's a good idea ultimately, and the stop is made by Neubert.
And who's involved in the middle of the scrum in front of the Flyers net? None other than Bobby Farnham. I guess we would expect that, Kanji. We're scoreless. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Take a look at Mike Camilleri this season. 5 3-point games, leads the National Hockey League so far this season in that category. First Devil with 5 3-point games in one season since Ilya Kovalchuk. Last season, 0 3-point games. What a start Mike Camilleri has had for these Devils.
We're a little more than a quarter of the way into the season, and you can boast that from Mike Camilleri. Now top 7 in the National Hockey League in scoring.
He's been a real leader as well, Steve. I mean, can't say enough about how guys listen to Mike Camilleri when he speaks. It's usually something that's going to impact the game or help your team.
Off the faceoff, Tyler Kennedy fans on a shot, nurses it back to the point. John Merrill's pass hit the linesman, and back come the Flyers as Matt Reed sends it into the Devils' end. Merrill winds it around the board. Stefan Matteau, outlet pass, picked off by the Flyers, taken back by Matteau, who darts into the Flyers' end. Goes wide on Delzato. He scores and deflected off the goaltender Neuwirth. Stefan Matteau for a 1-0 lead.
Well, how about that? Stefan Matteau has his best game in Carolina. He gets rewarded early on against the Philadelphia Flyers tonight with a backhand goal from a sharp angle. It all starts with speed through the neutral zone. He doesn't just dump the puck in, he sees the defenseman back off, so he goes wide. But he gets a lot on this backhand. Should the goaltender for the Philadelphia Flyers, Neuwirth, have this puck? Absolutely, but he surprised him. He got a lot on it, fires it toward the net. Good things can happen, and that banks in off Neuwirth through the legs, gives the Devils a 1-0 lead.
And the Devils score on their first shot. Flyers now look to respond, but Larson ties up his man, and Green plays it away. Stempniak sends into the Flyers zone. Hacked at by Philadelphia, it deflects out of play. Well, John McClain, you've had about 7 minutes to form an opinion. Does it feel and look like Devils Flyers?
Well, definitely. There's a lot of chatter going on down here between the benches. You know what, we'll see if that keeps going here with that goal just going in by Stefan Matteau. But it's like, it hasn't been as loud as, I haven't heard it this loud this year. The Flyers bench is very engaged, and the Devils are giving it right back too. So it's got a little bit of a playoff feel to it already.
So they're not asking each other what they're going to have to eat after dinner, eh, Johnny Mac?
No, not at all.
It's a little nastier than that.
We can't talk about it on TV, Kenny.
Matteau's goal is unassisted, his first of the year. Going to the penalty box for delay of game is the Russian defenseman Evgeny Medvedev, and will set up a Devils power play here.
I know Johnny Mac talks about both teams engaged. Flyers certainly saying some things to Devils players with intensity. That's the way you want to see the Philadelphia Devils games. The rivalry, the intensity, somewhat hatred for each other.
John Moore to Camilleri, firing, and the save is made by Neuwirth. Mike Camilleri scored twice at Carolina last night. One from a very sharp angle.
Adam Henrique wins the draw there, gets help from his two-winger. Stempniak as well gets it back to Moore. And Mike Camilleri shoots it from a sharp angle, and why not? Most of the time this season anyway, he's got an opportunity to score.
One reason the Flyers are winners of 3 straight, their penalty kill. 20 consecutive kills coming into tonight. Devils trying to break that streak. Elias helps guide it back to the point where Moore controls, and the Devils set up. Moore for Elias. Patrick looking for Stempniak at the side of the net. Gloved down by John Moore. The Devils able to hold the zone as Henrique takes the puck for New Jersey. Return pass for Moore. Across for Camilleri. To the high slot. Elias can't control the pass, and the Flyers send it the length of the ice.
You just saw there why the Flyers PK has been so successful lately. All 4 guys very tight-knit in a diamond. Devils are looking to pass that puck in the middle. A set play they use as far as giving goes, but the Flyers were able to poke the puck away and clear with ease.
2-2, winds it around to the point. Oh, that's a tough puck for Kyle Palmieri. He can't get on it. Short-handed Reed firing, and he shot it wide. Long carom taken by the Devils. Matteau gives here to Josephson. Puts the brakes on, and now tries to feather it in deep. Centering try by Matteau in the direction of 2-2. Josephson plays it back. Palmieri for Severson. Here's Jacob Josephson. Matteau at the side of the net. Palmieri tried to send it to 2-2 in the high slot, but broken up.
The crispest power play here for the Devils, unable to connect a couple of passes or put them together, which we saw last night in Carolina. I thought the passing was terrific, not just on the power play, but throughout the night. A big reason why the Devils look so much faster than the Canes and were able to execute and score some goals.
Andy Green able to hold the zone. Final seconds of this Devils power play. Kennedy plays it to the corner. Camilleri throws it in front. At the doorstep was Elias. Flyers clear it away. Medvedev is out of the box, and Schneider works it into the corner. Picked up here by the Flyers. They look for the cutting Vandevelde, and a penalty coming up this time against the Devils, and Schneider has to make a save from a sharp angle. Shane Gostisbehere on the puck here for Philadelphia. Works it across. Medvedev latches onto the pass, and it's redirected in front. Vandevelde directed it wide. Surge here by the Flyers on the delayed penalty call as Gostisbehere takes it at center. Controlled here by the Flyers, and Voracek motors into the zone. Stopped by Giunta. No whistle yet. Manning for Gostisbehere, and now Henrique will earn the Devils the whistle.
Flyers controlling the puck for quite some time on the delayed call to Andy Green. Devils not much success in their power play. Flyers PK, you mentioned Steve, so successful, and they were aggressive, great position, good support. Didn't let the Devils move the puck. There's Andy Green in front, chopping down Belmar. But the Devils PK has been rock solid as well over the last 17, 18 games here, and moved themselves right near the top of the penalty kill in the National Hockey League. They're going to need a good effort right here, leading 1-0.
Andy Green for tripping at 9:43. Devils have the 4th-ranked penalty kill. Deb set up the game by telling you that Travis Zajac is missing tonight, and he's such a big part of that penalty kill. He and Henrique, all things considered equal, usually start these shorthanded situations together. Stempniak will be Henrique's partner here.
At least Stempniak's been a terrific two-way player for the Devils, getting extra duty with the aforementioned Travis Zajac out with injury. That's a big hole for this team. Other guys going to have to step up. Kalinin, Stempniak on the PK, and really get the job done.
Off the face-off, Flyers get it back, and here's Gostisbehere playing it across. Shovels to the dangerous Claude Giroux. Flyers leading scorer, Giroux to the circle, in front for Wayne Simmons, and they score! And the Devils killer strikes again, his 9th all-time against New Jersey.
That didn't take the Flyers long. Wayne Simmons gets inside position on Adam Larsson, the defenseman for the Devils. You see right there, he's up a little high as the puck's up high. Devils didn't rotate quite quick enough here. As you see, the pass comes right through the box, and you don't see that happen too often. The Devils, beautiful pass from Giroux to Voracek, and he quickly shovels it towards Simmons, and I don't think he really got a piece of it at first, but he's able to kind of steer that puck past Corey Schneider.
The officials are conferencing at the scorer's table.
Oh boy, that did go right in off his skate. Now, was it directed, Steve? This is going to be interesting here, his skate. Let's look one more time. Well, his skate is going forward. This could be a break for the New Jersey Devils. Now, it was called a goal originally, and he did not get that puck before it crossed the line with his stick. So it has to be indisputable, as we know, and we'll see. Do they consider that
well,
kicking motion?
One man's version of a distinct kicking motion is another man's version of it not. Here's the call.
All interpretation.
After reviewing the play with video review, the call on the ice is confirmed. We have a good goal.
Flyers tie the game. Power play, Wayne Simmons.
I'll tell you, that was as close as it could get, for sure. And in fact, that goal, if that was called no goal originally, they would have had a tough time overturning that as well. So it goes the Flyers' way. They tie it on the power play. Real good puck movement there by Philadelphia. I didn't think the Devils got set, and we've seen them so effective in their penalty kill, but they were a little too far apart. There was a gap through the middle of the ice, and Claude Giroux and Voracek found it.
Here's Medvedev back in his own end. Simmons, 7th of the year. Voracek and Giroux will get the assists at 9:56. Jake Voracek can't buy a goal. but his 13 assists are tied for the team lead with Giroux. So the Flyers get the score even. Puck loose in the Devils' end. Matteau works this for Sergei Kalinin. Played back for David Schlemko. And guided across, John Merrill on the puck here for New Jersey. Here's Merrill dumping in, and Matteau will give chase. Yards back to the bench. The Devils execute the change instead. Schultz for Philadelphia to center will fire in. Puck takes a lively hop off the backboard. Now Green plays this to the stick of Adam Henrique. Taken away from him and controlled here by Braden Shen.
That was back pressure in the Devils' zone by Braden Shen. Devils are going to have to get the puck and get their feet moving. Standing a little bit here early on.
Camilleri guides this back, and here's Andy Green to center ice where he picks up Stempniak. Camilleri will fire in for New Jersey. Again, the Devils missing an all-situation player, and Travis Zajac. We're told doctors will evaluate him this evening when he's at the arena. We should know more later. Camilleri with a chance that's blocked. Stempniak with a try, blocked as well. Now Severson trying to tee one up, and the Flyers get in the way of that. John Moore sends it in deep. Del Zotto to defend Mike Camilleri. Has it on a backhand and looks it away. Michael Del Zotto, player who was not a constant in the Flyers lineup about a year and a half ago. Their leader in ice time this season. Nearly 24 minutes per game. Gianta cycles this. 2-2. Lost control of the puck. Now Farnham is on it for the Devils. Bobby Farnham tries to spin away from Gostisbehere. Works it back to the point. Chance there, and the redirect by 2-2 just went wide. Centering try by Moore is broken up. Devils with a strong response here after allowing the tying goal. Nick Cousins, the rookie center, works it across, and Manning sends it in.
Real nice redirection. Jordan Tutu in front of the Flyers net, just missed, like you had mentioned. And Damon Severson joining the attack. You like to see that. He's got very good offensive instincts as well. Devils had a good shift there.
Flyers break out. Medvedev able to pick up his man. Saved by Corey Schneider on the chance there from Belmar from the far side. Medvedev guides it across. That pass in the direction of Schultz, and the puck came out, so we get a stoppage on an offside. 7:06 to go. 1-1 game at Prudential Center.
Fires a backhand from a sharp angle, and he banks that in off goaltender Michael Neuvert right here. Let's look at it again. That ends up going through the wickets. Gave the Devils a 1-0 lead. That's your Buick RoboCam replay.
Flyers have 7 of the first 10 shots, and this is the second stretch of over 6 minutes in which the Devils have no shots on goal. Palmieri trying to collect the puck, and instead Schultz reverses course with it. David Schlemko trying to get a stick on it, hold the zone, but it comes out to Voracek at center. Here's Jake Voracek for Philadelphia. Sends it towards goal for the cutting Belmar. That connection just missed as it comes back out towards the Flyers' end. Medvedev, long pass, picks up Vandevelde. Sends into the Devils' end. Belmar crashing in. He's slowed up by Damon Severson, and the puck taken here by Sergei Kalinin for New Jersey. Russian-born center back in the lineup tonight. Devils are offside. Well, John McLean is at center ice, and he's identified that as a pretty important piece of ice that the Flyers are winning some battles, aren't they?
Yeah, they're being a little more aggressive than we've seen in the past. There, any neutral zone draws or anything in the neutral zone, it's a 2-1-2. Both wingers take the D, and then the centerman locks up the middle, and they allow the defenseman to take the outside guys. So as you saw right there, just allowing the defenseman to stand up on the outside. Center guy taking the middle away.
John, thank you. Here's John Moore who plays it back. Severson straight up the middle for Kalinin. Kennedy's pass collected by Matteau. Drop back to Moore, and a shot that's gloved down by Neuvert. Stefan Matteau works it back to Severson. Laid across. Moore to the corner. Kennedy will bank it off the board. Severson using the reach. Matteau trying to center one. Oh, he had Tyler Kennedy in front. Puck never got there. Couturier for the Flyers sends it out to center. Matt Reed overskates that, and Severson is on the puck. Flyers enjoying their first 3-game winning streak of the season. They're the NHL's lowest scoring team this year, but starting to come around. In those 3 straight wins, they scored a total of 10 goals, including 4 versus Ottawa on Tuesday night. Another puck that's deflected over the boards. This time they're saying it's a deflection. No penalty. 5.5 to go, first period.
He thought it was bold that the Devils drafted Stefan Matteau. His dad said it would have been bold for him to put on a Devil jersey and get on a Devil flight to be on this dad's trip, and he certainly would have done it if he could. He had a charity engagement that was already announced and he couldn't break it, but promises he'll be on the dad's trip next year. I'm sure he's watching, though, as his son scores his first goal of the season. We're going to have a couple of the dads, though, that have made the trip coming on with us on the New Jersey Lottery Intermission Report. Looking forward to that. We're going to have Mr. Severson and Mr. Camilleri. That's coming up, guys.
Deb, look forward to that. Opportunity for a couple of players here. Matteau is one of them. As a shot by Henrique is deflected up high and making the safe play. Neuvert will cover up.
Stefan Matteau has to feel good about scoring his first goal, first point of the season, and he picked up right where he left off yesterday, Steve. That's what happens. Things can have a domino effect. You play hard, you play good, and then you're going to get a break with a sharp angle goal like that every once in a while, and you'll take it no matter how you get them.
Adam Larsson back in the Devil zone, works it across, and here's Green. Henrique, Stempniak, Camilleri, line for the Devils here tonight. Back the other way for the Flyers. Raffl comes motoring in, drops it for Brayden Schenn, and a stick save by Schneider. Taken by Philadelphia. Stempniak tries to steer it out of the zone, and now it's taken at center by Philadelphia. Michael Del Zotto punches this in for the Flyers, and Larsson gives to his partner Green. Trying to chip it out of the zone. Bobby Farnham, but sent right back in. And now Larsson deep in his own end. Devils trying to snap a 3-game home winless streak. They're only 5-6-2 at Prudential Center, even though they're 3 games over NHL 500 coming into tonight. Gianta knocked down in his own end. Puck taken away. Here's Voracek continuing on. Works it across, and that's broken up by Gianta.
Steven Gianta stayed in good position, didn't bite on the pass, or it was going to be a dangerous one for the Flyers. He intercepted that in the Devil zone.
2-on-2 the other way. Here's Voracek, gets the pass back, sends in deep. Looking for the loose puck is Vandevelde. Schlemko trying to shovel it out of harm's way. Comes off the boards. Farnham works it to Gianta, and it's sent back out to center. Flyers look like a team that's had a couple of full days to prepare for this game in the first 15 minutes.
They've had the better legs, the pressure legs so far in this first period. You talked about the Devils weathering the storm. They're still knotted up at 1, and they'd like to keep it that way.
Taken away here by Cousins on the puck, drops it back. Del Zotto shooting, and he fired it wide. 2-2 takes the puck off the boards, lifts it out to center. Elias trying to snatch the loose puck. In the Flyers' end, it's taken back, and Del Zotto banks this across. Gostisbehere winds it around. Cousins trying to get it out of the zone. That's gobbled up by the glove of Jacob Josephson. Tries to spin away from Del Zotto, plays it behind the net. Elias backhander to the side of the net. Oh, he was looking for Palmieri. Puck comes out to center, and now getting Chase Severson. Eamon Severson darts behind his net. Palmieri, Kalinin, Matteau on here for the Devils. Here's Sergei Kalinin racing in, shooting. He fired it wide. Taken here by Severson. Matteau into the corner. Palmieri collides with the defenseman Medvedev. Winds around here to Moore. Plays it in deep. Taken by Del Zotto. Flyers pinned in a little bit here as Severson tries to hold the zone, colliding with Couturier. Looking for the loose puck, Kyle Palmieri. Trying to get a shot away, Matteau. Medvedev got in the way of that. Good work by the Devils on that shift. Some sustained pressure as the Flyers have to ice the puck.
Take a look at John Moore. He's just gotten better as he's got acclimated with his new team and teammates. You see there, 5 points in his last 4 games, Steve. A +2, no bigger goal than the overtime one in Montreal. And the great comeback the Devils had. John Moore has fit in very nicely on this Devils blue line. Great skater, and he's played the game intense. which I really like. He's very into the game, just watching his body language every night, every shift. He's prepared. He's mentally prepared.
Signed as a free agent with the Devils. First day he could, July 1st. Strong acquisition by Ray Shero. Camilleri on the forecheck for the Devils. Flyers, though, come out of it. Now Braden Shen at center. Can't avoid the stick of Schlenko. Stempniak slowed up at the line by Schultz. Late first period here at the Rock. 1-1 game. Devils and Flyers for the second time this year. Camilleri works it in. Devils have had the better of the head-to-head series. 10-2-2 in the last 14 between the teams. Henrique takes the puck in the corner. Works it back to the point. Larson is on it. His wrist shot gloved by Neuvirth the whole time.
There's been a lot of tough battles along the wall. Mike Camilleri, Adam Henrique, and Lee Stempniak, not the biggest in stature as a line, but they do a real good job along the wall, Steve, especially with their sticks, protecting the puck, and they have a low center of gravity, especially Camilleri and Stempniak, as far as not being real big guys. They usually win a lot of those board battles, which you wouldn't think with their size at times.
Face-off is to the left of Neuvirth. Josephson on the draw. Opportunity for him with Travis Zajac sideline. Centering Palmieri and Elias. John Hines feeling that's the best option right now with Travis out. All these situations are fluid. Taken behind the net. Voracek works this to the stick of Van de Velde, and the puck winds out of the zone.
Now going back, Stempniak, Camilleri, they use their brains along the wall, not their brawn, and sometimes they outsmart players and where to be. And use little tricks with their stick, picking the puck off the boards.
Nearly given away to Palmieri. Delzato is on it for the Flyers in the final minute of the period. One-time Ranger first-round pick, Michael Delzato. Flyers working ahead. Voracek able to drop this. Belmar shooting, and the glove stop made by Schneider. Last season, Mike Camilleri led the Devils in shots with 156. There are currently 4 Devils who are on pace to exceed that number. Camilleri himself, the team leader Palmieri, Henrique, and Stempniak. On the basis of that, can we say this is a more dangerous offensive team than a year ago?
Well, so far, there's no doubt about that. You don't shoot, you can't score, and as you saw there, those guys are hitting the net as well.
Shot from the point, got to Schneider, and he quickly made the save. Couturier. Hit by Kalinin. Taken away by Kennedy. 25 seconds left. He'll dump in. Matteau bearing down on the defenseman Gostisbehere. Wayne Simmons slowed up by Kennedy as Matteau sends the puck around the boards. Now Severson collides with the defenseman Manning. Couturier works it away. Final seconds of the period. Simmons trying for one last chance. Gets a backhander towards goal. Schneider makes the stop, and that'll do it. Shots on goal for period 1. 8-5 in favor of the Flyers. The score deadlocked at 1. Deb Placey will have some very special guests along with John McClain.
Oh, we got some punches thrown in front of the Devils' net at the end of this period. Matteau involved. Damon Severson was as well with Manning, and then Simmons had given Matteau a shot. And I like Stefan Matteau. He stepped right up and gave one right back. Everybody involved there. You got to protect the front of your net and your teammates. This is a rivalry, and it's been a pretty intense first 20 minutes, Steve.
Well, the linesmen do their job. Mark Shuchik and Darren Gibbs, along with the referees Greg Kimmerly and Brad Meyer. Deb and John with some Devils dads on the New Jersey Lottery first intermission.
Tonight's first period scoring summary is brought to you by Optimum. For a second straight night, the Devils score first, and they get one in the first period from Stefan Matteau. It's his first of the season. So now 3 Devils in the last 24 hours have potted their first of the year. Matteau's unassisted goal comes at 6:36. And then Wayne Simmons, the Devil killer, from Voracek and Giroux on the power play at 9:56, almost halfway through that first period. So the Devils give up a power play goal. Their PK has been stalwart going into last night's game. They were #1 overall at home in the league. The couple of block shots for the Flyers. Sign up for Devils Bingo presented by the New Jersey Lottery. It's free to play, and you have a chance to win great prizes like Devils tickets, gift cards, and more. Play all season long at NewJerseyDevils.com/bingo. And remember, with the New Jersey Lottery, anything can happen in Jersey. So the dads are impressed. I thought they were going to say with Ken Danico's ring, but I think they were just impressed with his big mitts as we go over to Kenji and Dano.
All right, thank you, Deb. And let's take a look at who's not here tonight as the teams start to make their way back. Travis Zajac is being evaluated by doctors. No timetable for his return yet. This season, he's played 24 games, 6 goals and 9 assists after suffering the upper body injury just a couple of minutes into last night's game at Carolina. This is an all-situational player. And just look at the first period here, Dano. Devils with a total of 5 shots. No Devils player has more than 1 shot so far. There's a trickle-down effect when you lose a player like Zajac.
Well, it is. Every team goes through it. You miss key players due to injury, and this was a big hole, especially against the Flyers, where Travis Zajac had a great game in Philadelphia in the 4-1 win as well, and you saw it maybe on the PK tonight early on here. Travis Zajac, who starts the penalty kill, wins draws, such a integral part. But all that means is another guy gets an opportunity. It's a team game. They've got to step up and fill that void, as tough as that may be, with a guy like Travis Zajac, who's just had a terrific start to his season.
Getting set for the start of period 2. There was a minor scrum at the end of the first period. Players gathered around Corey Schneider's goal, but no penalty minutes came of that episode. And it struck me when John Hines revealed his lineup just before 5 p.m. this afternoon. This is only the 4th time this season the Devils lineup has included Farnham, Tutu, and Matteau together. So that's a lot of sandpaper, and with the Flyers here, I don't think that's coincidence either.
Well, there's absolutely not. Coach Hines dresses or makes his lineup appropriately, and who he feels on certain nights will be most effective against that brand of hockey. And he felt division rival, the Philadelphia Flyers playing a feistier game. You're going to need a little sandpaper, a little muscle in the lineup.
Kalinin will take the draw. Second period underway here at the Rock. Flyers had 9 shots, 3 of them off the stick of Braden Shen. The game tied at 1. Michael Neuvert leads this at the side of goal. Long pass in the direction of Matt Reed. Puck deflects away and out of play. 11 seconds in, we have a stoppage.
Another guy who's been very important in this 3-game win streak for the Flyers is Sean Couturier. See 3 goals and 5 assists on the year. 2 goals and 2 assists, half of those points in his last 2 games, Steve. And they're going to need him. Not only we know he's a good defensive forward, but they need him to provide offense. This team struggling most of the season to find goals.
John Moore firing, saved by Neuvert. Thought he had the puck under control, instead it worked loose, and now Moore again looking for the redirect, and that went wide as Reed looks to chip it out of the zone. Just out of the reach of Sean Couturier. This line was having such a difficult time up until about a week ago. Couturier, Reed, and Simmons were a collective -33 last week, and they've really been the players who helped fuel this 3-game win streak by the Flyers, counting for 2 goals, 5 points, and 12 shots in that last game.
You know, I think sometimes a guy like Couturier, you know, he's a good defensive player, kills penalties, and you settle into that role and forget that he scored 20 goals in this league already, and they're going to need him to be a 2-way player like you need most players these days. You got to be able to provide offense as well, being a good defensive player and win draws and kill penalties.
Another guy who got started so young, 22 years old, Couturier, already in his 5th NHL season. Flyers look to work it across for Giroux, broken up, and Manning nurses this back in the Devils' end. Here's John Moore on the puck for New Jersey. Adam Larson continues back to Moore. Adam Henrique at the line, works it across. Stepniak trying to find the handle on the loose puck, and it's taken by Larson at center. Flyers enjoying their first winning streak in 5 weeks. 3 in a row coming into tonight. Devils send in deep, and Stepniak missed on the hit and went hard into the boards. Puck taken back by Philadelphia, and back the other way they come. Here's Voracek on the move for the Flyers. Dives it across, and that's wide of Schneider's net. Stempniak knocked to the ice. Camilleri following up. He's hauled down by Belmar. No penalty called as Manning sends it back in.
There's a big collision between Van de Velde and Lee Stempniak along the wall. This game remains to be a pretty physical contest. Nobody turning on their checks.
Back come the Flyers over the line. Cousins going wide. Now the power move on Merrill, and the stop made by Corey Schneider. Behind the goal, Merrill. For his partner, David Schlemko. Under some pressure from Cousins. Now Palmieri takes it away, and the Devils with Elias on the puck. He works it across. John Merrill gains the zone for the Devils and dumps in. Elias sees the puck taken first by Cousins, and the Flyers back the other way with McDonald playing it ahead.
Well, that was a pretty impressive move from Nick Cousins as he drove wide. Power move, showed speed, had a good scoring chance.
Palmieri on the puck. Tried to wait for Josephson. Broken up by the Flyers before he could pass it away. And there's a stoppage in play. We've got a penalty coming up. It's interference. And let's see who they've collared here in the second period.
36 interference.
Colin McDonald of the Flyers will go.
And Patrick Elias was pleading his case like he had taken the minor. Let's watch Lee Stempniak. Goes to finish his hit, and he just misses. Medvedev goes hard into the boards. There's a big collision with Van de Velde and Stempniak. Lee Stempniak, he gets involved all over. And here's the move. Nick Cousins, I think he surprised John Merrill as he got caught a little flat-footed. Cousins with a nice burst of speed, cuts hard to the net. Corey Schneider makes the save there.
Devils power play tonight 0 for 1. One shot on the first chance as Adam Henrique, Stempniak, and Elias come on. Camilleri and Moore, the point men, to get the power play started. Dish by John Moore, intended for Elias, off the mark, and now the Devils will reset.
Well, the Devils have to get on the same wavelength as the passes just aren't quite connecting here and making it too easy for the Flyers penalty kill.
Stempniak over the line. Tries to shake loose of Schultz. Work back to Camilleri, but given away, and back come the Flyers shorthanded. Here's Belmar firing, and that's rifled wide of Schneider's net. On the kill here with Chris Van de Velde, and now taken by Henrique for the Devils. Here's Camilleri on the move. 40 seconds into this power play. Henrique for Stempniak. They dish across, and now Moore will fire in. He's the lone defenseman on this power play unit. Patrick Elias trying to control, but Manning and the Flyers able to take it away. Michael Del Zotto sends it away. Picked up here by Moore. Uneventful first minute of the Devils power play.
Again, Flyers very aggressive on the PK. The Devils just are not connecting with their passes.
Palmieri over the line. Josephson in to help, winds it around, but it caroms all the way out to center where Severson's on it.
When you have a team that's very aggressive on the PK, and most teams are, Flyers especially right now, puck movement is essential. The first two passes so important. Difference of being in the zone, getting a scoring opportunity, or losing the puck, and the Devils have been losing it.
Matteau at the side of the net. Return pass for Josephson, nearly broken up. Now the shot from the point, redirected, trying to find the handle. Matteau tries to throw one in front. That's sealed off by the Flyers. Comes back to the point, taken by Severson. That shot deflected wide. Taken off the boards by Palmieri. Final seconds of the man advantage. Comes back to Palmieri at the point. He loses his edge. Out of the box is McDonald. Back to even strength. Centering try for Josephson, but he fanned on the chance.
That was a real good attempt. Puck just a little too high of a saucer pass. And now the Devils are going to the penalty box.
It's a hook against New Jersey.
Now Palmieri going off, hooking in the neutral zone just after the Devils don't capitalize on their power play in the first period. Similar situation. Here's the quick wrist shot from Damon Severson, and just out of the reach of Matoso. He wraps that thing around, almost banks that one in from behind the net. Smart play, get it toward the net as you see 2-2 in front as well. And then here Jacob Josephson right in the slot. Puck just a little too high, goes over his stick. And And there you see Kyle Palmieri's stick gets caught up. I didn't see the flyer there in between, or in the neutral zone. And we saw that in the first period, Steve. Devils don't score on their power play, didn't have many opportunities, and the Flyers came right back and tied the hockey game up in the first, so Devils have to be better on the PK here.
Scored on their only power play shot the Flyers have tonight as Giroux works it across, and Schenn played back to the point. Gostisbehere fakes the shot. Controlled by Giroux. Back to Gostisbehere. Wrist shot blocked away in front. Schneider sprawling as it's guided away from Voracek, and Green hammers this as it deflects out of play. And I hope everybody's okay down there as it went into the crowd. Face-off will come back into the Devils zone.
The Devils are taking a penalty here.
Penalty number 6, minor penalty play game.
Yeah, he blasted that puck over the glass. You saw the Flyers. It was tough to see, Steve, because it was awfully hard. The Flyers right away caught hold of it and were pointing toward the referee that this is a delay game. See Andy Green in the corner. Slaps that puck out. Now that's tough to see. Let's see one more time, maybe a better angle. That puck goes right out and over the glass. The Devils got their work cut out for them here. 5-on-3 for the Flyers for a minute 24.
So the delay of game call against Green. Take it here, Gostisbehere. Lays it into the corner, and the Flyers set up. Centering try, they look for Voracek at the side of the net, but he missed on the chance. Now Giroux will guide it back to the point, and the Flyers set up. Here's Gostisbehere. They call him Ghost. Plays it to the side. Voracek holds. Looks to feed Simmons at the side of the net. That's knocked down with a high stick, and that will at least stop the clock for New Jersey.
Oh boy, Flyers come close. Interesting scenario here, a lineup. They've got 2 forwards, the Devils killing their 5-on-3, and just Adam Larsson on the back end, Henrique and Elias up front. And I think a lot of that due to the fact that Andy Green's in the penalty box. There was the good opportunity right here for Voracek as he gets that puck in front. Simmons looking for the back door. Adam Larsson does a good job. And then a high stick, face off all the way back in the Flyers zone. Now the Devils go with 2 defensemen, Moore and Adam Larsson.
Josephson to take the draw, and the Flyers guilty of knocking it down with the high stick, and the face-off comes all the way back in their end. They win it back, and Voracek on the puck. Still 50 seconds of 5-on-3 power play time. Jake Voracek into the Devils zone, puts the brakes on, drops it back. Delzato plays it across. Gostisbehere had the shot, passes up, gives to Giroux, played across for Voracek, and that connection missed. Here's Gostisbehere one more time, off the stick of Voracek. He collects in the corner, drops it back for Delzato. Gostisbehere to the side, taken by Giroux. His shot saved by Schneider, punched away by Larsson, trying to muscle it out of the zone as Moore. He couldn't do it. Gostisbehere settles it back for the Flyers. 12 seconds to go in the 5-on-3. Voracek steps up, passes on the shot. They score from the sharp angle. Claude Giroux off the feed from Voracek. And another power play goal for the Flyers makes it 2-1.
Well, Devils were doing a good job up till then. Only 9 seconds left in the 2-man advantage for Philadelphia. They were just unable to clear right there. As the Ghost keeps it in, the defenseman for the Flyers, they get it down low. They've been looking for that backdoor play, and that puck squirts free. I don't think it was a clean pass to Claude Giroux, and it was kind of on his backhand, but he's able to corral it and be patient. And Corey Schneider was down and out from his knees, buries it to give the Flyers a 2-1 lead.
Even when it wasn't going well for the Flyers this year, the one constant was the play of Claude Giroux. He's been good from the start. On the kill, Patrick Elias with Giunta. Power play for the Flyers is 5-on-4 and controlled here by Philadelphia. At center ice, taken by Couturier. Slowed up by Henrique. Takes it away, short-handed Adam Henrique. Tries to play it across for Giunta and broken up. Back come the Flyers the other way. Motoring into the Devils zone, Michael Raffl delivers a check on John Merrill. Now Medvedev on the puck. Final seconds of the Flyers power play. Matt Reed works it across. Out of the boxes, Green. We're back to 5-on-5. Shot from the far side is fired wide. Puck caroms around, taken to the corner. Schlemko under some pressure from Reed. And now John Merrill works it back. Claude Giroux's 9th of the year for the lead. Voracek and Gostisbehere get the assists at 7-12. Here's Stempniak. Couldn't find the handle, and the Flyers work it back for Luke Schenn. Plays it to brother Braden, and Philadelphia breaks out. Back the other way. Return pass for Giroux. Or check that Belmar, who came on, racing towards Corey Schneider. Under pressure is Vandevelde as it comes out to center, and Schenn is on the puck for the Flyers. Just over 11 minutes to go here in the second. Another opportunity, and Schneider handcuffed there, still able to make the save on the on-rushing Nick Cousins. 2-1 Philly at the Rock. Time now for the Cadillac Trivia question. Claude Giroux leads the National Hockey League with 219 assists over the last 5 seasons. Who is second in that department? I've got a good guess. I don't know if it's the right guess. Claude Giroux, 73 points last year. Tied him for 7th overall in the NHL. With the Flyers since he was drafted first round, 22nd overall in 2006. After 3 100-point seasons, junior hockey got to know in Quebec. Off the draw, loose in front of the Devils' net. Raffl couldn't find the handle, and Camilleri sees Braden Schenn get on the puck and guide it back. Gostisbehere with a shot, and that went wide of goal. Camilleri behind the net, and Adam Larsson takes here for New Jersey. Works it out of the zone. Reflects all the way to the goaltender Neuvirth, who has to play the puck and cover up. Devils are trailing mid-second period. John McLean, can you tell us why?
Well, you know what, guys, just the penalties are hurting them. You talked about it there. The 5-on-3 there. Who's in the box but Andy Greenwood, probably the best penalty killer on the Devils team there. And then you saw Giroux, he was setting them up there. He was looking for Gostisbehere up high, which he scored on. He's got a couple game-winning goals with that play. And then they go to the other side, pass from side to side, makes it tough on Corey Schneider there. And then you have Larsson and Moore out there for the whole 2 minutes, which is hard. You get a little fatigued there, Kenny.
Shot by Severson is fired wide.
Yeah, Mac, I agree. And Devils are putting themselves in a tough predicament here after taking a 1-0 lead. And especially when their power play hasn't been effective. Philadelphia's bounced right back, and it's been a special teams battle. The Flyers are winning so far, and it gives them all the momentum in the world here, Mac.
The Devils have no shots in the last 9 minutes. Matteau crosses up with Josephson. Tied up along the far boards. Puck comes to the stick of Couturier. And the Flyers break back the other way. Reed for Simmons. Hotline for the Flyers coming into tonight. Reed, Simmons, and Couturier. Bobby Farnham on the puck for New Jersey. Works it back towards the Flyers end. Luke Schenn ahead for Simmons. He'll dump in for Philadelphia, and Moore back to collect the puck. With the dads in the house last night, the Devils never trailed. Rooting for a come-from-behind victory here tonight as that contingent. Bobby Farnham.
Farnham and Scott Laughton. And here we see, Laughton ends up knocking Farnham down. Don't think the punch connected. Both guys squaring off and flying at each other, Steve. Not a lot of damage. They go to the box, 9:38 left. Flyers lead 2-1. We'll be back.
Tonight's Geico hometown hero is firefighter John Hooker from Butler, New Jersey, a member of the Butler Fire Department since 1987. John has served as a member of the Swiftwater and Ice Rescue Team and Vehicle Extrication Team. Our Geico hometown hero, firefighter John Hooker. A salute to firefighters here at the Rock tonight, many of them in the house.
Well, good to see. Wearing the Devils red there, you see Scott Laughton and Bobby Farnham off 5 minutes each for fighting. Not a whole lot of punches thrown, Steve. They went down relatively quickly, but Farnham may be trying to spark his team here. Devils, I'm not sure why, but at home it seems just not quite as sharp as they are on the road. And I talk about the passing and mentally sharp, making plays, and they find themselves in the hole here, 2-1 to Philadelphia.
They have 6 shots, better than halfway through regulation. Played across. Here's Voracek on the move for Philadelphia. That shot is controlled by Corey Schneider. NHL scoring leaders, the electrifying Patrick Kane in a class by himself. Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin right behind him. But you won't go past 7th overall to find the name Mike Camilleri, who's tied with 4 others. The 3-point game last night giving him 26 on the season. They can use something here from their leading scorer tonight.
You took the words right out of my mouth. And they have to be the big guns again. Henrique Camilleri got to step it up here and pick these Devils up. They have not been at their best. Special teams, which has been excellent, consistent most of the season, not very sharp tonight so far.
Stempniak motoring in, work behind the net, and collected here by the Flyers. Maybe some mixing matching about to begin. Patrick Elias is taking this shift with Adam Henrique and Lee Stempniak. Comes out to center as Raffl plays it across. Flyers able to gain the zone. Here's Schultz, the defenseman, working it across. Elias tries to take it off the boards. Raffl was there to disrupt him. Adam Larson able to punch this out of the zone, and Medvedev is back to give chase. They got the icing call here, the Flyers. Not sure they have enough mustard on that puck.
Well, anytime you have a physical rivalry like the Flyers and Devils do, you want a guy like Jordan Tootoo right there in the lineup, and he got in a scrap himself last night. Boy, oh boy, did he throw the haymaker of a left against Malone of the Carolina Hurricanes, and buckled him. And they're going to need some of that aggressiveness here against the Flyers, just to get in on the forecheck, not necessarily fighting, Steve, but give them a spark here, because I can't pinpoint why at home, and a lot of teams talk about it, that we play maybe a little simpler on the road. We're a little more relaxed. We connect with our passes better because of that relaxation. But at home here, as of late, the Devils, I'm not going to say have been bad, but just out of sync a little bit most of the season, up and down.
Cousins behind the net, sealed off by Josephson. Matteau is the Devil with the lone goal tonight, on the puck and played across to Moore. John Moore. Fans look for a penalty call as he was hauled down with the stick by Voracek, but back the other way come the Flyers. McDonald walks into the Devils' end. Severson there to defend him, and lifting it away is Josephson. Picking it up off the boards. Kyle Palmieri shooting, and the save is made by Neuvert as Schenn collides hard with Palmieri.
And Kyle Palmieri shoots that puck, but nobody there going with him for a rebound as Luke Schenn takes him out hard after the shot. And Devils only 7 shots on goal. They score from a sharp angle to open the game. Take a 1-0 lead. Stefan Matossi, you'd think Neuvert, wasn't so focused going into this game. He let a weak one up early on, and they've been unable to sustain it, get some more shots on him, and see, in fact, if he is shaky or not. He hasn't been tested.
Neuvert has, for the most part, played well for the Flyers. Comes in with a goals against average of 2.05. The record 5-3-1, 11 appearances this year. He's their number 2, and that's another stop made by Neuvert as the shot came from Jordan Tootoo. Goal scoring has been the issue for the Flyers. Go back to 2 seasons ago. This was one of the most potent offenses in the NHL. They were 8th ranked, averaging 2.84 goals per game. They come into tonight 30th in scoring in the NHL. And the strange thing is, as Tyler Kennedy's shot is saved by Neuvert, cast of characters hasn't changed that much. 11 of the skaters are still the same from that season, including the key guys, Voracek and Giroux. On the puck is Matt Reed. He's one of the 11 as well.
When your top guy from a season ago has 1 goal, that's a big reason why they are where they are offensively. Goals scored,
Schenn's chance is off a stick and deflected way over the netting and out of play.
Now we saw the Devils, Tyler Kennedy with a good shot, Jordan Tootoo, but nobody getting inside for rebounds. I like the fact they're shooting the puck even though they're from the outside, Steve, because they have to test Neuvert. And I talked about the goal going in on him early from a very sharp angle off the backhand from Matteau, but they got to drive to the net. Be be there for rebounds. It just seems they're a step late, not getting inside position on the Flyers in front of the goaltender.
The Paris, France-born Pierre-Edouard Bellemare takes the draw for the Flyers and wins it. Voracek is on the puck. Poked away from him by John Merrill. Elias sends Josephson on his way. And here's Stefan Matteau for the Devils. He'll motor wide around Schultz. Stefan Matteau back to the point. Merrill shooting. That's blocked in front and controlled by the Flyers. Fired back in by Bellemare, and Schneider finds it around, but Voracek plays it back in deep. Picked up here by Vandevelde. He's checked by Josephson, and the Devils take it away with Matteau on the puck. He'll dump in, and Elias gives chase. Devils execute the change. Elias can't control as Gostisbehere took it back for the Flyers. Back comes Philadelphia once again. Bellemare will dump in. Flyers are trying to complete a perfect 3-0 road trip. Victories at Madison Square Garden over the Rangers, and Canadian Tire Center against the Senators earlier this week. Gostisbehere gave it away at center ice. Picked up here, Stepniak. Flyers there to deal with him, and the puck taken away by Philadelphia. They've been good back-checking tonight, the Flyers.
Well, good job by Brandon Manning on the speedy lead. Stepniak looked like he had a step on him. He was able to stay in front and finally poke the puck away where it might have been an outnumbered situation for Stepniak in the Flyers zone.
They pick up Camilleri at center ice, darts into the Flyers zone. Camilleri lost control of the puck. Raffle loses this to Stepniak, hauled down on the play. Fans want a penalty again, but we continue on.
At least Stepniak wasn't happy as well as he stripped the puck from Raffle. And then he felt he was hauled down. He might have had a case there.
Here's Giunta over the line. Kalinen's shot off the stick of Voracek. Giunta on the puck. Gives here to Tyler Kennedy. Reverses course on Cousins. Tyler Kennedy comes out with it. Kennedy continues to hold, works it across. That shot is saved by Neuvirth. Firing away was John Moore, and back the other way come the Flyers. The dish in front. They were looking for Vandevelde. That's broken up. Things now opening up here at Prudential Center as Kennedy plays this to Damon Severson.
The Flyers in the neutral zone here really packed together, focused defensively, not giving the Devils much time and space to get through the neutral zone. Devils trail 2-1, 4:37 left in the second. Stay tuned. Okay.
Up in the suites, I have found the other John Hynes, and I have to say, you look just like him. Picked you right out of a crowd.
Thank you. I wish I was his age.
What kind of a thrill is it for you to watch him coaching in the NHL?
Wonderful. It's you know, he's worked very hard all his life to get where he is, and he's a young coach, but he's also had a lot of experience. And my wife and I are very proud of him, as is his brother and sister.
What has this dad's trip been like for you? You know, you're one of the older guys.
This was a great experience, and not only did we meet a lot of people, but we met people that we actually had some association with. I met Dave Blitz's dad, Ron. He and I were in the Air Force together back in 1966. Yeah, and he was on the same base as I was.
That's unbelievable.
No, so we had some great time.
What did you learn behind the scenes here these last couple of days that you didn't know?
Well, I think what we learned was that the instruction that has to go forward from the coach to the players has to be succinct, it has to be direct, and it has to have a particular message that they all get quickly.
All right. It's no easy job.
No, it's not an easy job. And, you know, it's like management. You know, you succeed through the work of others, and you have to help them along. But at the end of the day, everybody has to do its job.
Pleasure to meet you. You can tell why your son says you were an inspiration to him. Enjoy the rest of the night.
Thank you. Great.
Okay, guys.
Spoken like a coach, Deb, because he was one. He was a youth hockey coach himself.
You see where Coach Hynes gets it from. Great stuff, and he obviously learned a lot from his father. And what an interesting story. Devils co-owner David Blitzer, his father, who got to talk to as well, are such good people. They were in the Air Force together, I believe he said it was, right, Kenji?
He did.
That's just great stuff. What a small
base.
world, same base.
Here, under 4 minutes to go, second period. Larson got a stick on that and directed it into the Flyers bench.
So in that sense, we salute them as well for their service, and the fathers have had a great time, and we just appreciate what they've done growing up for their youngsters. who make up these New Jersey Devils.
Well, he's witnessed the road traveled by the younger John Hines. 6 seasons at Wilkes-Barre Scranton, 5 as a head coach, 6 seasons as a head coach of USA Hockey, the national development program there, stints as an assistant at UMass Lowell and the University of Wisconsin, all leading him here to the New Jersey Devils, the age of 40. Flyers have the 2-1 lead. Giroux directs that at Corey Schneider. And a stoppage in play with more business in front of Corey.
Now more pushing and shoving in front of Corey Schneider, Adam Larson, Braden Shen. And I'll tell you, it's a big difference when Andy Green is on the ice against Giroux and the top players, because it just seems they have no space out there. When Green was in the penalty box, no coincidence, Giroux scored. And there's Wade Simmons, who's been a Devils killer of sorts over the years, although the Devils have had the Flyers number as far as the wins and losses, but he's had some success, and he scored a goal again tonight on the power play. He's a big physical presence, and you see the last 3 games, 6 points for these Flyers, 0 in his previous 6. So as the Flyers start winning, Wayne Simmons is a big part of that.
28-goal scorer last year, and now things are taking a continual testy turn here in the second period, which is what we expect.
Yeah, it really hasn't been a Devils game where they've had their legs, they've connected with their passes, yet they're only down 1. These are the games you have to gut out and try to get something out of them. Devils look to tie. I don't think it would be very helpful for them to go down 2 the way this game has gone, but if they can get that equalizer, it could really spark them going into the third.
Flyers control in the Devils' end. Good work by Belmont, the undrafted forward for the Flyers, and picked up at center by Tyler Kennedy. Gives to Sergei Kalinin. Slams on the brakes. Sees who's trailing. Backhand pass in the direction for the cutting John Moore. Broken up by the Flyers.
That was Voracek doing a good job. That was very close to connecting. Moore would have been in all alone.
Picked up here by Voracek. He's leveled by Tyler Kennedy. And back come the Devils. Bouncing puck batted down. Giunta trying to find the handle. Manning tries to get it out of the zone, and the Flyers do.
Voracek shaking up, going back to the Flyers bench. That was a good, stiff, solid check, clean check from Tyler Kennedy on Voracek.
Tyler Kennedy tries to work it out of the zone. Deflects back to Schneider. Under 2.5 to go here. Second period of play. Devils trailing 2-1. Long pass for Kennedy in the neutral zone. He'll nurse this in. Devils get fresh legs on. Patrick Elias sees Lawton get the puck by him, and the Flyers with McDonald send it out to center. Puck gobbled up here by Nick Cousins, who races into the zones. He's sealed off by Schlemko, and Merrill takes the puck. McDonald tries to send it back in deep for the Flyers. Cousins takes a run at Josephson. And controlled by Lawton for Philadelphia.
Johnny Mac alluded to it earlier, and this is the best, I agree with Mac, the Flyers defense have done it, standing up the blue line, having good gap between the forwards and coming down on them, because the Devils, who like to use speed and a good passing game, and I've talked about them being out of sync, a lot of that due to the Flyers defense being able to really stand up effectively.
And they're without one of their top men, Ratko Gudas, the very physical player, suspended for 3 games for a hit in the game versus Ottawa. Back here in the Flyer zone, Neuber leaves it at the side of the cage. Wayne Simmons on the puck for Philadelphia. He's checked. Mateau delivers a hit. Able to send it behind the net. Taken here by Henrique. Guided back to Larson. His shot stopped by Neuber. Puck taken here. Henrique on the near boards, battling for it. Stempniak on the puck. Mateau getting a shot here with Henrique and Stempniak, but the puck goes all the way back. Icing is waved off, and Larson has it. 45 seconds to go. Larson, long pass. Stempniak picks it up at center. Here's Mateau, knocked off his stick and taken by Schultz. He'll chip it out of the zone. Puck got by Raffel, and this time icing waved off again as Moore winds it around, but not out of the zone. 27 seconds left in the period. Loose puck at the side of the net. Taken here by the Flyers. Controlled and played back from Medvedev. Works it across. Shot by Schultz. Off the leg in front. That got Raffel. Devils lifted ahead. Puck taken here by Bobby Farnham with 10 seconds to go. Farnham looking for Severson. And there's a penalty coming up. It's an elbow, and it's against Schenn. Brayden Schenn of the Flyers.
This game has had a physical tone to it. Brayden Schenn goes to the penalty box.
Penalty number 10.
Watch
2
this
minutes,
check
elbow.
from Tyler Kennedy right there, just standing still. He caught Voracek off guard. Good, solid, stiff shoulder to the chest, and Voracek went off the ice, shaken up. Now Brayden Schenn, with 8.5 seconds left in the second period, goes to the penalty box. The Devils' power play in 2 attempts thus far has not fared too well, Steve. Give the Flyers PKs a lot of credit. 20 for 20 going into this game that you talked about, and 2 for 2 tonight. Really have shut the Devils down, not giving them much at all as way of a power play.
They've got 8 seconds to work with before the period ends. Off the draw, won by the Flyers. Schenn is tied up in the corner. Henrique prays the work and across, and a last chance by Camilleri is snuffed out by the goaltender Neuvirth.
Oh boy, best save of the game for Neuvirth. Mike Camilleri almost ties it up with no time on the clock. 2-1 Flyers at the end of 2. Let's take a look right here, Steve. Henrique picks that puck up. All the Flyers loaded over on the other side. Neuvirth, he read that very well. He got across real quick as it kind of generated a little bit slow because Adam Henrique had to settle that puck down, but he made a nice pass on a rolling puck to Mike Camilleri.
The shots after 2, 17-12. Flyers have the lead as well. Jewish Heritage Night will take place this Sunday at 7 p.m. when the New Jersey Devils take on the Florida Panthers at 7 p.m. All fans who purchase their tickets at NewJerseyDevils.com/Jewish Heritage receive a special t-shirt and access to a special post-game performance by the Maccabees. Getting set for the start of the third period here at Prudential Center. A couple of members of the Devils organization invited to the World Junior Championships training camps. Congrats to John Quenneville, Devils' first-round pick in 2014. Goaltender Mackenzie Blackwood also invited by Team Canada, second-round pick in 2015. And Pavel Zacha of the Czech Republic, the 6th overall pick in the draft this year, all hoping to represent their respective countries in the upcoming World Junior Championships. The United States will reveal its select training camp roster coming up on Monday as the Philadelphia Flyers make their way out, and the Devils do as well with Corey Schneider. Critical point here as the Devils will start the third period with 1 minute and 51 seconds of power play time. How about this, looking at the stat sheet through the first 2 periods, Ken Danico? Adam Henrique, Lee Stempniak, Jacob Josephson, Patrick Elias. No shots.
Yeah, remarkable, and they're only down 1 goal here. Fresh sheet of ice, you mentioned power play, which has not been successful in this game, but you have a chance to get yourself right back in it. Give the Flyers a lot of credit that they've really clogged the neutral zone. This is the best I've seen their defense close the gap, stand up, be physical, not give anything through the middle and forcing the Devils to dump pucks in or creating turnovers. But there's 20 minutes to go here, and that's all it takes for the Devils here. Fresh ice is so important. I'm sure they talked about their power play, which wasn't successful in the first 2 periods on a couple of tries, and look for Adam Henrique and Lee Stempniak to at least get a shot or a scoring chance here on their power play to try to get the equalizer.
Let's see how the Devils line up here to start the third period. Jacob Josephson is staying on along with Tutu, so critical point in the game here. Devils being outshot 17-12. Minute 51 with the man advantage. They had the lead, the Devils did, on an unassisted goal back in the first period by Stefan Matteau. Since then, power play goals by Wayne Simmons and Claude Giroux for the lead.
You know, it's always never a lack of effort. Sometimes you just don't execute. You're not going to be perfect every night, and they haven't through 40 minutes, Steve. But it's finding a way to get a point, scratch and claw, and battle through these games and get something out of them.
Tutu, Matteau, and Josephson are the line that starts the power play. Severson and Schlemko, the defensemen, they pick up Jacob Josephson at center. Here's Tutu in the corner, guides it back to the point. That pass can't be handled cleanly by Severson. Schlemko plays this to Damon Severson. Devils trying to avoid a 4th straight game in which they'd be winless at Prudential Center. Dumped in by New Jersey. Matteau delivers a big hit on Luke Shen.
I just love to see that. I know it's the power play. He belted Luke Shen in the corner, knocked him flying.
Here's Schlemko on the puck. The dish to Josephson. Jacob Josephson. His shot stopped in front. Matteau trying to jam in a rebound, but that's blocked. Played here by Schlemko. Minute to go in the power play. Schlemko sees a shot deflect off a stick and out of play. Faceoff will stay in the Flyers' end.
See Luke Shen have a few words to Stefan Matteau. Let's watch right here in the corner. They both go for the puck. Shen caught a little bit reaching. And because of that hit, Devils get control of the puck on the power play, get a shot. That hit Matteau, but then he took a whack at his own, or at his rebound after the puck had deflected off of him. And you want to see Stefan Matteau play that robust style, and he's done it 2 nights in a row, even though the Devils have been a little off here in this game against the Flyers.
Camilleri on the continuation of the power play. 40 seconds to go. Drops it back, picks up Tyler Kennedy. Motors into the Flyers zone, winds it around. Manning tries to chip it away from Patrick Elias. Henrique reverses course with it. Waiting for it is Camilleri. Dumps it in deep. Played by Manning. Tries to fire it out of the zone. Camilleri trying to hold the zone. Couturier took it away, and he gives here to Matt Reed, who dumps in.
Flyers have just given no time and space for the Devils whatsoever. They kept the puck along the wall, unable to get any passing through the middle of the ice.
Here's Elias on the puck, plays it across. Camilleri has to take it off the boards. Penalty time is up. Elias shot it. The shot. Palmieri scores. The puck deflected to Kyle Palmieri, who ties the game with an even strength goal.
Not exactly the way the New Jersey Devils diagrammed it up at the end of the power play as the Flyers just went to even strength. Shen coming out of the box. Patrick Elias in desperation tries to find the seam, Mike Camilleri, so he goes back through the middle. Patrick picks it up off the wall, and that puck caroms right to Kyle Palmieri. Let's look one more time here. Patrick Elias shoots that puck toward the net. It banks off a skate right to Palmieri, and Neuvirth's down and out. He had no opportunity there as he has to respect the shooter and the man in front. Devils get a break, nice bounce. We're all tied up.
Well, the crowd at Prudential Center energized really for the first time since early in the game. On the goal by Matteau. Now 2-2 tries to send it back to the point, but Voracek comes back the other way for the Flyers. Van de Velde to Bellemare, who's bumped by Farnham. Kyle Palmieri gets to 10 goals in the Devils' 26th game. Bellemare drops it back to Manning. Can't control at the point. Taken away by Giante. It's a 2-on-1. He's got Farnham heading for the net. Farnham shooting! And it's stopped in front.
Bobby Farnham loses the puck, but he almost regains it, gets it back, and Farnham's down. He went for a big hit flying over the boards. And I don't know if he got hit from behind afterwards, and now we got a big scrum.
Now it's chaos right at the edge of the Flyers bench.
And initially, Bobby Farnham went for a big hit and missed and flew over the Flyers bench. I think he got hit from behind after. And boy, this game has gotten heated most of the evening, hasn't it?
It was Van de Velde who got him with a cross check.
Yeah, you saw him holding his back there, and that was away from the play. We didn't see it. We were watching the puck move up ice. And we'll see what the refs sort out here as far as penalties. You see Bobby Farnham go to the box. Let's take a look at it now. Gianta goes in a 2-on-1. Strips the puck from the defenseman. Farnham does a nice job to pick up that pass. Couldn't get the shot off, but he gets his rebound and just about gets an opportunity. It's Jacob Voracek who he went to hit, and then he cross-checks in the back. And I can't believe Voracek's not going to get a 2-minute cross-checking penalty there. There's the opportunity for Bobby Farnham. Good job from the Flyers, and that was Van de Velde who came back and They've got a stick to deter that chance from Farnham, or a clean chance. And there's the cross check to the small of the back. And the refs missed that one.
Van de Velde is in the box. So is Farnham. There's 2 minutes on the board listed for each.
And it wasn't Van de Velde and Farnham involved initially. Farnham came over as he was upset and wanted to get at anybody, Steve, from the cross check he took.
Bobby Farnham's dad looks on here. So 2:53 in. We'll watch 4-on-4. Josephson and Stempniak are on here with Merrill and Schlemko. Give the assists on Palmieri's tying goal to Patrick Elias and Mike Camilleri. 2-2 in the third as Josephson motors in. Merrill at the point, shovels it back in deep. Puck taken here by Stempniak. John Merrill dishes off. Schlemko on the puck. Works it to Josephson, but it's taken away from him by Michael Delzato. Now Gostisbehere sees the puck taken away. Josephson on a backhand, poked away by Delzato.
Well, that was a little slow in development. Jacob Josephson, I don't think he realized he had a lane right to there. It would have been in tight. To get that shot of net, he tried to beat the defenseman with a backhand, or a stick handle back to his backhand, and was poked away.
Here's Gostisbehere on the puck for Philadelphia. Medvedev into the double zone, fakes one shot and continues on with Severson staying close. They drop it back to Schultz. Redirected, Schneider able to make the glove stop. Staying with this, the Flyers are, and Voracek is on the puck. Guides it back to Schultz. Schultz throws one in front, and Schneider got enough of that. Smoked out is Severson, who darts back the other way and gives across. John Moore for the Devils will dump in. Schultz goes hard into the boards. Now John Moore slowed up, works it back. Kyle Palmieri looking for a lane. Stick handles, comes back to Larson. The dish back to Palmieri. Maybe one pass too many as Medvedev takes it.
Yeah, Devils maybe getting a little too fine around the Flyers' net before they shoot, making one extra move and just enough to lose the puck as the Flyers were in pursuit.
Palmieri continues on, and his pass is collected by Voracek. A lot going on here in the first 4:45 of the third period.
Steve, this game's had a lot of intensity to it.
Elias to Palmieri, shooting it! One save by Neubert, who's got it.
And that was a huge save. There you go. Kyle Palmieri receives the pass in one motion from Patrick Elias, and he snaps that puck on net. Watch here, turnover. And Kyle Palmieri gets the pass from Patrick Elias. I think that was Medvedev who turned that puck over as he brought it back, thinking it was his own teammate. In fact, it was just Patrick Elias back there. And the Devils get a great opportunity. Good save from Neubert.
Kalinin, Kennedy, and Matteau come on. Off the draw. One back by the Flyers, and Schenn plays this to Wayne Simmons. Here's Simmons into the double zone. Bouncing puck. Schlemko can't control. Crosses up with John Merrill. Now Schlemko to his defensive partner, and the Devils look to break out.
That's something the Devils do so well in their own end, the defensemen, when they're under pressure. Reverse the puck. They don't panic and throw it away. And they got out of their zone. Schlemko and John Merrill there.
Here's Kalinin tied up. Speed of Tyler Kennedy nullified the icing call on this sequence. Loose puck taken away here by Simmons. Works it across, and here's Belmar for the Flyers. Cole sends one towards goal, and Merrill got in the way of that.
I like Tyler Kennedy playing a very physical game as well. He took out Wade Simmons hard. He's not looking at the numbers. Whoever's closest to him, he's making sure he doesn't jump back in the play. Finishes check nicely on Wade Simmons in the neutral zone.
Henrique Camilleri and Stempniak reunited now with the game tied. At the blue line, worked across, kicked out by Henrique. Controlled by the Flyers. Brandon Manning to center. Lawton tries to play it ahead from McDonald. Now Scott Lawton follows up. Gets his legs moving. Power move, but it was fought off by John Moore. Controlled at the point by the Flyers, and Gostisbehere backhands it in deep. McDonald checked by Camilleri, and Moore delivers a hit on Nick Cousins. McDonald blocked away by Schneider. Puck deflects back towards the point. Now kicked at by Camilleri as it's sent out to center.
They're accustomed to that, a little soccer style to get it out of the zone, Mike Camilleri.
Whatever it takes, and there goes Elias working it back off the skate. And Severson to John Moore. Camilleri met at center ice by Michael Raffel and played back.
That's something we've seen from the Flyers defense all game. Good job standing up in the neutral zone. That time it was Medvedev.
Josephson, though, sends it in deep, and Palmieri delivers a hit on Schultz. Elias takes the puck, nurses it behind the net. Josephson battling for it. Palmieri comes in, takes the puck away, looking for Elias, and he fanned on the chance. Comes back to Larson, played into the corner. Josephson's tied up. Good pressure by the Devils on this sequence. Elias roughed up as he took a hit by Medvedev. And the Flyers work at the center. Palmieri fires off glass into the Flyers' end.
You don't mind the referees letting the boys play out there, but as long as it's consistent, Steve, and you're going to let one call go, you got to let...
Farnham with the takeaway, shooting save made by Neuvert. Back the other way, Couturier works it across, and Reed dumps in for the Flyers. Pace has really picked up in the third period. Couturier, centering try, deflects. And picked up by Jordan Tutu. Motors back the other way. Backhands into the Flyer zone where Farnham can't get to it. And now Simmons for the Flyers. Off the stick of Couturier. Loose puck taken by Steven Giunta. He'll make the safe play, chip it out of the zone, and it's controlled by Manning for Philadelphia. 11 and a half to go, third period, 2-2 game. Glad you've joined us on MSG Plus 2. Second meeting between these division rivals this season. Merrill winds it around to the stick of Matteau. He's sealed off by Voracek and taken by the Flyers. Punched ahead, Bellemare couldn't control as it comes back, and Manning plays it back for Philadelphia.
Both teams playing a little ping ball here, or ping pong on that, Steve. Puck ricocheting in and out, bouncing off in the neutral zone line.
Taken here by Philadelphia. Voracek able to send it behind the net. Vandevelde on the puck. Plays it behind for Bellemare. Looking for Voracek. Voracek works it back. Flyers drop it back to the point. Shot by Medvedev, and that wouldn't go. Here's Schultz from the opposite side, and that's stuck in front. Picked up here by Schultz. Devils trying to fight off a Flyers surge here. Played into the corner. Voracek for Medvedev. Shooting. Deflected to Schneider, and they score on a rebound.
I think it's Bellemare from his knees on the rebound. Flyers with terrific pressure in the Devils zone, and oh, what a play to find that loose puck. Watch the shot from Schultz from the point. Puck comes right out, a long rebound back to Schultz. He's able to keep it in. Voracek goes to Medvedev. He gets the shot off, and Bellemare fights off John Moore in front, and that rebound comes right out to Bellemare. He just gets enough of that as he's falling to the ice, Steve. Real good concentration from Bellemare. And that's the go-ahead goal. Gives the Flyers a 3-2 lead. And this has been a fast, furious paced hockey in this third period. Flyers finally score to break the tie.
Bellemare's second goal of the season. One of the two French-born players in the National Hockey League. This puck deflects back. Trap was Braden Shen. It's offside on the Flyers. We'll step aside with 10:19 to go in the third. Cadillac trivia question. It's answer time. Claude Giroux leads the league with 219 assists over the last 5 seasons. Who is second? My guess is the guy who's been feeding Alex Ovechkin a lot of pucks for the last 5 years. I'll take Nicholas
That's
Backstrom.
a good guess. I didn't have one. I went blank. Backstrom's a real good guess, so I'm going to take a pass here.
It is Joe Thornton with
Thornton,
218.
of course.
Just one behind Claude Giroux.
Quietly out west in San Jose, Joe Thornton's been piling up the assists for years.
Bellemare, the goal from Vandevelde at 9:30. Simmons one-hands it into the Devils' end where Andy Green is on the puck. Couturier can't control, and it comes out to center where Simmons is on it. Here's Green behind the goal. Stempniak collects. Devils trailing once again here in the third after they fought back to tie the game on the Palmieri goal. Steered in by Adam Henrique. Tries to maneuver around Luke Schenn, who stays with Adam. Loose behind the net. Schenn looks to get it out of the zone. Instead, Camilleri shoots, and he fired it just wide. Picked up here by Henrique. Played back to the point. Merrill for Schlemko. He's got Reed up high on him. John Merrill plays it to Camilleri. Devils looking for the equalizer again. Merrill for Schlemko. Holds the zone. His shot, though, is blocked away by Del Zotto and hammered the length of the ice. Icing waved off. Merrill tried to quickly catch the Flyers. Pass intended for Gianta. Got by him. In the Philadelphia zone, Tyler Kennedy, who had a 2-assist game last night against Carolina. On with Gianta and Stephane Matteau. Neuvert winds it around. Matteau can't control, and the Flyers will skate it away with Gostisbehere sending into the Devils' end. Raffl motoring in. He's checked by Larson. Behind the Devils' net. Centering try is broken up. Gianta delivers a hit. Puck taken by Giroux. Tried to feed Raffl, but broken up and taken by the Devils instead. 8.5 to go. Third period. 3-2. The Flyers with the lead here at Prudential Center. Vandevelde deflects into the Devils' zone. Severson there to deal with him, but Vandevelde continues on. Eamon Severson tries to work it ahead. Bouncing puck controlled nicely by Elias. Darts back the other way. But the puck knocked off his stick, and Schultz nurses it across for Medvedev. Moore fires back in. Flyers trying to make it 4 straight wins. Devils' opponent on Sunday.
The
Florida Panthers are trying for a 5th straight win tonight.
biggest difference, Steve, that I've seen in this game compared to the Flyers in Philadelphia and the Devils' victory is their defense is just so much more aggressive and standing out. So passive and soft. All 3 zones last game in Philadelphia, they have been assertive tonight.
2-2 knocked to the ice by Del Zotto. Now Schlemko back in his own end. Able to regather and darts back the other way for the Devils. Steered in by Tutu. This banks off the glass behind Neuvert. The puck play stays in play. Brandon Manning on it for the Philadelphia Flyers. Collected at center by Simmons. He sends Reed on his way. Return pass for Simmons is broken up. Punched ahead by Tutu, and Kalinin plays this back. Under 7 minutes to go. Now Moore in front of the Flyers bench. Tutu and Simmons.
Yeah, Jordan Tutu and Simmons, and they may go here. Well, Simmons knows they're up 3-2. He was trying to draw a penalty, but Jordan Tutu's incensed. And I would like to see that one, believe me. That's 2 tough customers. Devils trail 3-2, 6:48 left. To the game are brought to you by GMC. See the pros nearest you to test drive one of their award-winning trucks, crossovers, or SUVs. GMC, we are professional grade. Claude Giroux on a 5-on-3 advantage for the Flyers. Gets the pass from his knees, makes it 2-1 Philadelphia at the time. Kyle Palmieri banked off a skate right on his stick. He makes it 2-2. And then just a couple minutes ago, Belmar gives the Flyers a 3-2 lead as that puck caroms right to his stick. He stays with it while falling down, puts it in past Corey Schneider.
Coincidental minors to Jordan Tutu and Wayne Simmons. For Tutu, a high sticking call. For Simmons, it's holding. 4-on-4 as it's Merrill on the puck here for the Devils. And John Merrill softly sends into the Flyer zone. Josephson giving chase. Schultz got it away from him. Now a foot race the other way as Schlem goes back. Matt Reed on the forecheck, and Schlemko guides it away from him. Gives to Josephson. snapped a goal drought last night that went back to April 4th. Devils looking for the equalizer here, but it's controlled by Del Zotto instead. Waits for the Flyers to execute the change. Del Zotto across. Voracek motors into the Devils zone. Jake Voracek goes wide around the net, continues to hold. Voracek looks for a lane to shoot, poked away from his stick by Andy Green. Tried to send Henrique on his way, and now gobbled up in center by Adam Henrique. Played across to Green. Here's Camilleri. Into the Flyers zone. Camilleri looks for a lane, shoots. That's deflected away. Controlled here by Henrique. Taken by Green. Sends it behind goal. Camilleri waiting for it in the corner. Back to Adam Larsson. Behind the net. Luke Schenn seals off Henrique. That enables Voracek to take it for Philadelphia. Both teams execute the change. Under 5 1/4 minutes to go in regulation time. Schultz on the puck for Philadelphia. Schenn lays it ahead. Vandevelde one-hands it across. Bellemare has it for the Flyers. Here's Bellemare with the go-ahead goal. Shooting, that's blocked away in front. Severson now trying to stay with Bellemare. He continues on, guides it back towards the point. Trying to hold the zone is Schultz. And taken back here by John Moore. Coincidental minors are up. Teams are back to 5-on-5 in a 3-2 hockey game, 4.5 to go.
Boy, there are some board battles all night long, and especially here in this third period.
Here's Palmieri into the Flyers' end. Gostisbehere took it away from him. Lifts it away to center ice. Couturier will dump in for Philadelphia. Now Merrill on the puck. Schlemko tries to work it ahead. Kalinin delivers a hit on Couturier, but a shot by Manning is saved by Schneider. Back come the Devils. Worked across by Mateau. Tyler Kennedy tries to throw it in front for the cutting Kalinin, and that missed. Mateau able to pick up Kennedy. Tyler Kennedy works it across. Schlemko leaves for Kennedy. To the high slot. Knocked off Mateau's stick. Sent the length of the ice. Icing against the Flyers. 3:44 to go. John, a lot going on here. What do you see?
Yeah, a lot going on here, and this is where the Devils get an opportunity to take advantage of the Flyers. They've been doing a good job changing on the fly here. Now they got them tired out here. Got the number 1 line. They get a face-off play, win the draw here, and they might get something right here.
Henrique, Stempniak, Camilleri. On with Green and Larsson. Flyers win the face-off. It's an area the Devils missed. Travis Zajac certainly fired in by Green. Stempniak hit at the line. Trapped in the zone was Camilleri on a delayed offside. That bought the Flyers some time. And here's Del Zotto. Back into the Devils' end where Larsson will get chased. Pass to Stempniak along the near boards. He's under some pressure. Now Stempniak lays it across, and Camilleri on the loose puck into the Flyers' end. Guides it across. Henrique tried to cut to the net. That was broken up. Flyers have Raffl on the puck. He'll work it across. Controlled by Philadelphia. They drop it back for Brayden Schenn. And now the return pass. Raffl tries to glove it down, but knocked away from him by Andy Green. Devils execute the change. Patrick Elias on the loose puck to the Devils. That pass by the outstretched stick of Josephson. Slams hard into the boards on Nick Schultz. On the forecheck, Elias trying to control. Taken back by the Flyers and punched away by Vandevelde.
Well, Flyers making it very difficult to penetrate once they get in the offensive zone. That's the Devils, where they're really blocking the middle of the ice.
Penalty is coming up. It's a trip. The Devils' power play to go to work in their efforts to tie the game when we come back.
Philadelphia penalty number 36.
Takes down Jacob Josephson as he kind of circles back and gets a piece of Josephson skating out of the zone. Good opportunity. 2:21 left there with the Flyers up 1. Devils desperately need a goal on the power play here to tie it.
Belmar for tripping at 17:39. Devils power play 0 for 3. Flyers win the faceoff. Moore, though, plays it behind the net. Luke Shan trying to send it the length of the ice, and it got by the glove of Henrique. Schneider leaves behind his net for Camilleri. 1:45 on the power play. Just over 2 minutes left in the third period. Camilleri back for Stempniak. Now Henrique works it across. That pass intended for Elias off the mark, and the Devils have to get back onside as Moore has it. 1:50 to go. Camilleri lays it across. Now Stempniak on the puck for the Devils. Works it around the boards. Waiting for it is Henrique. Vandevelde there to converge on him, and the Flyers able to get it out to center.
Devils just really having a tough time controlling the puck and gaining a clean entry to the Flyers zone. Flyers really doing a good job pressuring.
Moore skates it in, dishes off to Elias. Return pass for John Moore. The give to Stempniak. Puck winds around, and it's taken by Camilleri. Corey Schneider to the bench. Devils get the extra attacker on as Camilleri banks it off the backboard, and Elias works it back. Taken here by Moore. Back for Elias. Patrick Elias. Moore. Sharp angle shot by Camilleri. Stopped in front. Comes back to Camilleri. He scores! On a second chance, Camilleri, and he ties the game with a minute to go.
Well, Mike Camilleri does it again. And I don't know how he got this puck through a maze of legs. You mentioned it, Stevie. Had the first shot blocked on his own rebound. Devils pulled the goalie for the extra attacker as well on the power play, so a two-man advantage. And there the puck comes right back to Mike Camilleri. There, it's blocked the first time, but it gets back to him. I think Lee Stempniak does a real good job. He was able to get a little piece of that puck and poke it back to Mike Camilleri. And he's able to slide one past Neubert to tie this game up. It has not been the prettiest game for the Devils. It's been a hard-fought game. A minute to go in the third, but we talk about they have to find a way to get something out of it.
Leo Camilleri, a proud dad, watches his son tie the game. Final minute, regulation time. Comes back to Adam Larson for the Devils, who punches it back in. Camilleri stays on now with the teams back to even strength. Stempniak tied up, taken here by Camilleri, and he plays it behind goal. That is the 6th time this season the Devils have scored with the goaltender pulled for the extra attacker. Simmons on the puck. Banks it off the backboards with 25 to go. Now Del Zotto behind the net. Simmons checked by Elias. Couturier is sealed off by Andy Green. Puck taken by Patrick Elias. Plays it ahead, and Josephson gets it out to center with 10 seconds to go. Here's Del Zotto. See if there's a last chance for either side. Michael Del Zotto. Pass picked off by Matteau. That'll do it. It's overtime at the Rock. The Devils fight back. Twice from a deficit in the third period. Each team's earned a point. Overtime next. The New Jersey Devils Overtime Report is presented to you by New York Life Insurance Company. Keep good going. Well, the dads will watch overtime. 3-3. Devils fight back to tie the Flyers on the late third period goal by Mike Camilleri. The overtime records for each team. The Devils, as many of their fans know, 4-0 in the 3-on-3 situation. The Flyers are 4-4. One of the players we featured at the very top of the show tonight, Shane Gostisbehere, the rookie defenseman for Philadelphia, recently became the first Flyers rookie ever to score 2 overtime goals in the same season. They've each got a little something going for them, but the Devils, you might say, have some momentum after the late goal.
Most definitely, they score late. They hope it energizes them. This has not been the best game from the New Jersey Devils. I thought the Flyers played one of the better games I've seen them play. I know they've won 3 in a row, Stephen, have really gotten contributions from everywhere, but much tighter defensively, strong to neutral. But the Devils, they just don't quit. You got to give them credit. They get this to overtime. They've had success in overtime. You mentioned Gostisbehere. This kid can really scoop. Watching him out there, so you're going to have to make sure you pick him up.
The Devils go with one forward at the start. Henrique with Green and Larson. Giroux and Voracek are together to start the overtime with Michael Delzato. And Delzato on the puck as the Flyers have it. Michael Delzato dishes across. Voracek on it. Drops it for Claude Giroux. Crosses up with Voracek, who steps up, plays it down low, looking for Giroux. Flyers captain didn't see the pass, and he's checked by Adam Henrique. Now Giroux gets back up, took the puck away, and then shot by Voracek, rang off the pike. Devils catch a break as it's settled down by Henrique. Adam Henrique darts back the other way. Green funnels it in deep, but play stops on an offside. My goodness.
Flyers come out with bigger on the opening face-off of the overtime, and that's the Voracek and Giroux we're used to seeing combo last year. Is Giroux, nice little feed. Voracek rings one off the pipe. Devils still alive here.
New Jersey has not won games on back-to-back nights since February 20th and 21st of last season. Trying to do it here. Camilleri with Stempniak and Moore. Devils gain the zone. Stempniak, bouncing puck, still able to battle Gostisbehere, who steps on to continue the overtime. And here is the rookie defenseman from Pembroke Pines, Florida, working it ahead quickly. Shooting is Couturier on the stop made by Schneider. Here's Moore. Works it ahead patiently for New Jersey. Moore steps up, shoots, and that's blocked by Couturier. John Moore, the hero last weekend in Montreal, trying to do it again. Taken though by Gostisbehere, and the Flyers work it back the other way. They execute the change. Gostisbehere holding. Camilleri there, trying to disturb him. That pass behind Simmons, and he's checked by Stempniak. Schlemko on in the overtime. Will work it to Camilleri. Here's Camilleri. Opts to use the fourth man in red on the ice. Corey Schneider, look out, under some pressure, gave it away, and Belmar couldn't do much with it.
I don't recommend Mike Camilleri doing that too often, passing it back to the goaltender.
Picked up here by Severson, across, Schlemko's shot, fired it off the side of the net. Severson behind the net, continues on. Dealing with him is Simmons, and he'll punch this ahead. Picks up the dangerous Claude Giroux, puts the brakes on. Able to try to drop this back from Medvedev. Return pass for Giroux with 2.5 to go in the OT. Voracek on the pass from Giroux. Tries to look for a lane to shoot. Played it across, broken up by Elias. And Josephson wheels away with the puck for New Jersey.
Oh boy, this is fun, isn't it? A lot of space out there, and now the Devils weaving through the neutral zone. Let's see if they can get a last burst.
They masterfully complete the change. Henrique shooting off Delzato's stick, out of play.
Adam Henrique, a little too big of a windup there. He didn't realize Delzato closing in. Does a good job with his stick to flex it out of play. There's David Severson. Voracek able to cut to the middle, and Patrick Elias, real nice job intercepting that pass with his skate. And here's the chance from Adam Henrique. Delzato closes in and deflects it out over the glass.
Henrique, Palmieri, and Green. Devils win the faceoff this time. Work it back to the captain, Andy Green. Tries to punch it in deep. Gave it away to Couturier, but it comes right back to the Devils captain. Sends it ahead for Palmieri. Delzato there to deal with him. Players lost sight of the puck. It comes to Palmieri. Broken up here by Reed. 2-on-1 the other way. Matt Reed has Couturier with him. Reed walks in, shoots, saved by Schneider, and they score! It got past Corey Schneider, and the Flyers in overtime defeat the Devils 4-3.
We started with Cal Palmieri getting shaken up in the Flyers zone as I think he got in a collision and shoulder to the chin. Flyers go the other way, 2-on-1. from their own end and had all kinds of time. Matt Reed slows it up, stick handled a little bit, waited, and somehow shoots this puck. Schneider got a piece of it, but that's the OT winner for the Philadelphia Flyers.
The Devils aren't budging off the bench just yet. The Flyers are heading to the locker room. Devils want some clarification on the goal. And indeed, the officials gathering at the scorer's table. They've gone to Toronto, and it counts. The Flyers win the hockey game 4-3.
Tonight's third star from Philadelphia, number 28, Claude Giroux.
The goal of the game is brought to you by Nissan. And here we are in overtime. Palmieri does a good job, and in fact, almost gets a good chance. Matt Reed comes through and clips him a little bit, does a good job defending, and then they go on 2-on-1 with Couturier, and he elects to shoot it. Corey Schneider gets a piece, all kinds of time. Andy Green does everything just to bide some time. That goes off the left shoulder, trickles by Corey Schneider. That's your Nissan goal of the game winner in overtime. And for me, Steve, that was a good point in my estimation. Didn't think the Devils had their best stuff tonight, and they managed to get a point out of it, but they're going to have to start winning some of these games at home. Let's look again the Nissan goal of the game. As you see Matt Reed, patience, waits, elects to shoot it himself, and he just gets it by Schneider off the shoulder.
Corey Schneider, not enough to fully make the stop, and the Flyers win it. Lexus brings us this look at the upcoming schedule. Florida Panthers will be here on Sunday night. Jaromir Jagr's return to Prudential Center on MSG+. And then it's off to Toronto. Lou Lamoriello's Maple Leafs will host the Devils Tuesday at 7:30 on MSG. And then Devils Red Wings 1 week from tonight on MSG+, right here at the Rock. From Matt Reed, his 14th career game-winning goal. The undrafted player out of Bemidji State, the hero for the Flyers. The Jag Physical Therapy postgame show is coming up next.